quick turnaround mentally? Were you kind of sitting in that for the past couple weeks, or what has that been like for you?
It's been okay, to be honest with you. It's been, it's not, because it's not a moment that breaks us, and that's why I think it wasn't made bigger than what it was. It was, yeah, we, could have won the game there and made a real, I think, a statement for the playoffs, but, the way it ended, it's not like we now are in a spot where, oh man, we have some sort of results go our way, or, we're not in the playoffs all of a sudden, all those things, so it wasn't really made bigger than what it was, and it's something that we're aware that we have to get better. We have to find a way to close these games out in that way, and yeah, that's really what it was.
Obviously, or I guess I'll start here. How has the feeling been in, I guess, I don't know, training with your teammates? Like, I mean, especially heading into, obviously you guys are in the playoffs. Is there talk about wanting to make that statement heading into a postseason? Is there, I don't know, like, are you guys looking at what it would take to get the third playoff spot? Like, are you looking at scenarios, or is it just kind of like we're going to try and win Saturday and then see what comes?
It's really just about winning Saturday, seeing what comes. I know that if we win, we get at least fourth. So that's obviously something that is nice. We play at home. Fan appreciation night. We want to have one good last regular season home game in front of our fans before then the playoffs come. And I think having a win, also gives you a bit of confidence. Obviously going into the playoffs, and yeah, so we're excited to play. It's not really more than that. I don't think we need to have a statement to show ourselves that we can be good and we can make a run. I think we know that. That if we play at our level, and if we are focusing on the details in certain specific moments of the game, and then yeah, I think we know that we can make a run. So I don't think we need to prove ourselves that just by one last game on Saturday. I think it's just, again, another good way to prepare and get ready for what's to come.
Has there been, I don't know, a focus on a certain detail or something that you want to make sure you guys hone in on before the playoffs begin that you're working on this week, or is it kind of just been the same?
It's been similar to just going back to the basics, trying to do the things well that have gotten us to this point and have worked well all throughout the season. It hasn't been too detailed. Obviously last week was a bit of a strange week where you have that break. Some guys were gone on international duty, so you don't have the full squad here, but yeah, this week will be probably more fine-tuned, just regular preparation for the game, because I think that's what it will look like as well heading into the playoff matchups. Whoever it will be will prepare. You don't need to throw everything out the window and all of a sudden change everything once the playoff comes around. You want to kind of keep doing what has been working, and clearly what has been working for the season.
Does it help to know that, I mean, you guys didn't see, it has been a shorter amount of time that you guys have seen Montreal than like your last two opponents. And does that help a little bit to watch film and be like, okay, this is basically the team that we have now. We had success against Montreal, and does that help at all, or are you guys just focusing in on yourselves?
Yeah, more recent games definitely help if you play the same opponents. Just in terms of watching film and thinking about what they're trying to do, but it's obviously a do or die game for them, so that changes the scenario a little bit. That might change the lineup a little bit. So I obviously know the coach. I know he wants to go for it. I know he wants to win this game and get into the playoffs. So it'll be a tough matchup. They're a team that fights for their season, and that's never easy to kind of play against.
Does it almost help a little bit that they have to come out and play, as opposed to teams that have sat back against you guys and made it more difficult defensively, just because there'll be space and maybe fit the way you guys like to play?
Yeah, maybe. I think it's still a 90-minute game. They're not going to be open and expansive from the first minute on, I think, and they're obviously not trying to. I don't know. I don't think they'll be trying to run with us. If they do, then I think we obviously like that game. Of kind of back and forth and having more spaces and stuff. But I think it's certainly intriguing a little bit of kind of how their setup will be. But so far, we've really just been trying to focus on ourselves and then trying to do the things well that we do well, and that is sometimes even trying to break down a lower block. You know, those types of things of how can we be better at that, so that, you know, opponents have a really difficult time to play against us. But yeah, again, it'll be interesting to see how they set up, and certainly as the game goes on, we know that they'll have to go for it, so that'll play it into account as well, for sure. But for now, you know, it's really just been the focus has been on how we do things and what we do, and control basically our performance.
You've been in this league for a long time. To have things, not seeding, but playoffs locked up going into the final game, as opposed to like Montreal trying
Nice.
to. Yeah, just how much does that kind of take a load off of guys going into a game? You still want to win. There's still stuff up for grabs, but you know at least the postseason is there.
Yeah, it's nice. You know that your season continues past this Saturday, and especially knowing that we get another home game. You know, those types of things I think play a role for sure. I've been in a situation before where we had to win on the last day of the season, just like Montreal, and we didn't win, and our season was over at that point in DC. I think that was 2020, kind of a weird season anyway. But yeah, so I've experienced it a little bit on both sides, or even last year, I think in Vancouver, it was similar. So yeah, certainly nice to have that security in a way. And you know, I think that the big challenge for us is obviously to how can we you know, have home field advantage. Obviously by winning the game, we want to be fourth and at least, and maybe even third or whoever or whatever it would look like then. But we're just excited to kind of fine tune things, like I said, and then really get up for it the coming week and the coming playoffs.
You mentioned a couple times fourth. There's also a scenario where if you guys win, other games go your way, you're guaranteed to host MLS Cup if you make it that far. I know that's a ways off, but has that been a topic of conversation at all?
No, it really hasn't.
Just the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I think as of right now, I think St. Louis is probably the only Western team, right, that's in front of us. So hasn't really been a topic. I think the Eastern Conference is obviously quite strong. There's some really good teams there, so we gotta worry about winning that first before we can worry about MLS Cup.
Julian, Julian, coaches have talked about, you know, coming off of long breaks, you know, coming back recharged. We've seen in the past coming back, the team comes out like a little flat, you know, come out of long breaks. Is that something you guys have looked at in the past to see what didn't go right, you know, coming out of those breaks in the first part of matches and trying to change it up, or has it just been the same, you know, recharge, you know, at the same rate?
I haven't noticed a difference. I've obviously only been here, was it one international break? 2 maybe?
Yeah.
Something like that. I didn't notice that trend, or didn't have that feeling, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, if it's something that I think we gotta be ready for, this is a good way to maybe try and change a little bit of things and try and be aware of it even more. Maybe just be awareness. I don't think you need to change too much about it. It might just be like an extra little, hey, let's get going here quick, you know, because you know, there's obviously there might be a scenario in the playoffs as well where you might have a little bit of a layoff to then go into some elimination games. So and that's where you don't want to be flat, right? So right now this is, I guess, a good practice again for that, and then try and see how we can be, knowing that, like I said earlier, they will come out and they will be up for it, they will be ready to go, because it is a playoff game for them, and they have to win to get in. So you know, we certainly need to be up for a fight and up for a challenge right away.
14th consecutive sellout, 15th of the year. What's it mean with this being Fan Appreciation Night to have decision day here going into the playoffs?
I think it's fitting, and I think it's deserving for the fans to have that last game of the season be here, to have it, you know, it can really be a celebration of the fans, you know, because there is nothing really, well, there is something on the line. Yeah, we obviously want to win, and we want to win for the fans, most of all, and but there's nothing like, oh, if we don't win, we're not in the playoffs. You know, our season continues. We will have another home game this year. That's certainly nice to know, but it can really be a celebration of what the fans have brought this whole season, and 15 sellouts, 14 straight, I think, right?
Mhm.
That's what it was. I think that's an incredible achievement when you only have 17 games at home. That's pretty good. So obviously very appreciative of their energy and how they bring it every time, and how they will carry us on Saturday again, and then leading into the playoffs.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Joe.